Hello and welcome back to World of Crow. I'm Kess, and today I think I'm going to talk about um, the more stressful side of drawing, wanting to be an illustrator, creating, as well as kind of how it relates to identity and how it can cause problems in that area. So I mean like a lot of creatives, I'm sure I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself when it comes to drawing and making art and whatever it is that I'm creating. I want everything that I do to be perfect and to have no flaws, and that just isn't realistic. I mean, it's not realistic for anything or anyone. Nobody's perfect. Like nobody can draw something or do anything perfectly every time. At least, I mean, I don't think so. And yet we put this pressure on ourselves. And I know for myself, I feel like I'm always going to be judged by my worst drawing. It's like if I do something that's not completely up to the standard that I expect, or maybe I feel like other people expect, then that's going to be the thing that I'm going to be judged on, and people are going to think that I'm not actually very good, not as good as maybe they thought I was, which makes it very difficult to sometimes pick up a pencil and want to draw and create, because it makes you feel very stressed and very just anxious about doing it in the first place, because you don't want to mess it up, you don't want to do something bad, even though it's something that nobody else has to see. And I guess another thing is that I don't want to do art that doesn't feel like me, that doesn't feel like something that I would create, because I feel like sometimes I look at a drawing or a painting or whatever I create, and it doesn't feel like something that I would do. I mean, like, technically I'm happy with it, or as happy as I get with anything, but it's like it's been drawn by somebody else, or and usually like I think it's because it's lacking something that I don't know, I guess I want to express in my work, or if it doesn't have a strong feeling of an emotion, or if it doesn't say something, tell a story, or I don't know, if it just doesn't, like I always I get a feeling from looking at a piece of my work like it's mine, and like I connect to the feeling of it, if that makes sense. And if I don't, it feels I feel a disconnection from it, and then I really just don't like it, even though maybe it's an okay piece of art, it's an okay drawing, but I don't like it because it doesn't feel how I want it to. And sometimes I think it's maybe certain media or certain colours. It can be really stressful for me to think about what colour something should be, what colour palette I should use. For a long time I didn't really do much of anything in colour. I'd use black and white. Most of my work was ink or pencil later on, and if I'd use a colour, it would be like one colour in a black and white image or something. I didn't use much colour for a long time because I never really knew what colours to use. And I guess because of a lot of the art that I liked was more like pen and ink, and it was black and white images that I was interested in, so I guess that's what I was looking at and that's what I liked, so that's what I created. And now I feel a little bit more comfortable with colour. I still struggle with using colour in a way that feels right, that helps it feel a certain way, helps it feel the way that I feel like it should feel. And I guess with different media, like I'm fairly comfortable, and I can usually get across the feelings that maybe I want to with pencil. Pencil is what I'm most comfortable with at the moment. But when I try and use, like for instance, I think a lot of what I'm playing around with at the minute is watercolor and gouache. And when I try and use that, sometimes it's difficult to use it in a way that feels right, that gets across the feeling that I want it to get across, especially when I'm using, which I am when I'm using those media, like when I'm using colour, it's being the right colour to get across that feeling. Which kind of leads on to feeling like, who am I as an artist, as an illustrator? Like what define, well, not what does something define me, I guess. I've never really thought of myself as a painter, even though I use paint in some things, and I used to do images that were completely paint, but I've never thought of myself as a painter because I don't feel particularly skilled with paint. You know, when I use watercolor and gouache and stuff, I often feel more like it's like coloring in, it's adding color to a drawing. I will very rarely go straight in with paint and just do a painting, even though I know that like a lot of even like older, you know, like the grandmasters and, you know, kind of paintings had a drawing beneath. They felt more like, they look like paintings in the end, like they used them. I'm not explaining this well, but I've just never associated with painter. I've always, I don't know, felt more just, you know, like an artist or an illustrator or someone who draws. And I think overall, like, drawing is, like, I like lines, I like line work, I like looking at drawings, I like doing drawings. I think I'm more of a drawer than a painter, but it's interesting how that, I don't know, it almost becomes a part of that. Well, it does, it's like, it feels like a part of that identity of who you are as a creator, an illustrator, an artist. And whether or not I do, I don't know, I guess like really tight line work that's really controlled, or whether I do something looser, like I've pretty much gotten known for doing things that are very tight and controlled. It's just the way it seems to naturally work with me at the minute anyway. I used to be able to do looser stuff, but for what I want to do now at the minute, it just feels more natural to do something that's more controlled. I don't want to feel like confined to that. I want to be able to break out of that if at some point I want to. And it's difficult to not feel like you're in a box. Part of my brain, I feel like, is trying to put me into a box, and it's like trying to define me and say this is who I am as an artist, as an illustrator. And like it never used to be that way. I never used to feel like I needed to be defined and confined. I don't know, I don't want to feel that way, I guess. I want to feel like I can do anything and still be the same person, the same artist, you know, because I just maybe at some point maybe do things in a different way sometimes. But again, that messes with that idea in your head of your identity, like, as an artist. I guess because like I struggle now to make finished work that doesn't have a purpose. And I guess that feeds into maybe defining myself more as an illustrator than an artist. Like when I was more, I don't know, when I was creating images for the sake of them being images, be them paintings, drawings, whatever, and I felt more like an artist. I felt more in the realm of, I was more interested in fine art and making art for the sake of the art, I guess. And now it feels like, yeah, I struggle to make art for the sake of it being art sometimes. It's like it needs, even if it's the purpose of it, I don't know, being a art print, you know, I can print and you know, something that is a thing, not just like, okay, I've done this drawing and it's just a drawing and it will forever just be a drawing. It's, if it's not a design for something or an image for a story or, yeah, for a specific thing, I struggle to know what it's for. I just look at it and think, why have I created this? Why is this here? Why am I creating this? Which is really interesting. I don't know, because it's something that I did struggle with when I was trying to do the more fine art route type thing. And one of the reasons I think I stopped, because I didn't know what I was doing anymore. So it's just something that like I think about a lot recently, because I feel like it's very on my mind right now, in trying to find where I fit, where I want to be in the realm of being an artist, an illustrator, creator. I'd be really interested to hear other people's thoughts about creating an identity and how other people feel about where they fit in that, and if you have and relate to any of the struggles that go on in my head. If you have any thoughts or anything, please do comment and everything, because I would definitely be interested to hear about that. I will hopefully see you again next week with another ramble and sketchbook session. So I will see you then. Goodbye.